Most of you don't know me, but that's okay. You know Jesus. Now, last week you had Sid McConaughey. And Sid made a statement at our church that it doesn't really matter what he is saying, someone will get it. Someone will understand. That's me. I got it. So I said to him, if Pastor Michelle is willing, I'll do this. Well, we see how that turned out, and here I am. Now, 50 years ago, I used to do this. At one church every Sunday. We had 4. And every 4th Sunday, it rotated. One of those churches closed because they lost the young people. And I took that seriously. And I never spoke again after that until Sid spoke. So Pastor Michelle and I talked, and I told her what I wanted to speak about. In the new commandment, and this is from John 13:31. So when he had gone out, Jesus said, now the Son of Man is glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him himself, and glorify him immediately. Little children, I shall be with you a little while. Longer you will seek me, and as I said to the Jews, where I am going, you cannot come. So now I say to you, a new commandment I give you, that you love one another as I have loved you, that you also love another. By this, all will know that you are my disciples, if you have loved one another. Now, Pastor Michelle filled these things in, and if you read what she has highlighted, it has to do with the disciples. To begin with, the disciples were with Jesus. The disciples followed Jesus. And when he says, you cannot go, they took offense. Now, a disciple, once you become a follower of Jesus, my interpretation, then it is your responsibility to convert others, to understand what Jesus means to you. The disciples was to go out through all the nations and bring God's message to them. So, Sid, to me, someone will understand. I understood what he meant. So it is now me that must spread God's salvation to you folks here. And it is also now your responsibility to reach out to someone else. It doesn't matter who it is, to someone else. Now, at one of our meetings, Patsy was there, and I had COVID a long while back, and it still affects. I died. And I met Jesus, and Patsy says, was the light blinding? I said, no. It was beautiful. It was glorious. And I didn't want to come back. And he says, go back and tell the people about forgiveness. Forgive each other. But if I say, forgive me, and you say, okay, but I won't forget. Done. It's now on you. So at a car show recently, a fella come up, and we were talking, and he said the COVID affected him really bad. He died. And I looked at him, and I said, did you want to come back? No. And it was the same, the light. The light was so brilliant, and he was able to share that. Whether I was pinpointed or not, I don't know, but he shared that. Now, years ago, I knew a family, and that family had 5 boys and a girl. The one boy died in 1939 at the year of 1.5 of pneumonia. So the family grew and they prospered. And some went to war and some did not. One of the members that went to war was the Vietnam era, same as mine. And he contacted Agent Orange. But through his experience, he was a bomb technician. He deactivated unexploded bombs down in a hole. One of them exploded. And he was in so many surgeries to repair this arm. And if you saw his back, it looked like pepper, but it was brass. And when he would get really sick, he would cough up some of that brass. Then there was the third brother. The third brother accepted Jesus. And his whole family accepted Jesus. And to this day, Jesus is in his life. Even though some of the church that he goes to, whether it was Tanner, which it won't be now, he was poor. There's only 4 or 5 attending. And it's upsetting, the same as it was for me. Brother number 4 contacted or became ill with leukemia. No one knew it except brother number 5. And he was taking him to his treatments. So lo and behold, he was going to so many hospitals, then we were asked to pray for him. We did. And we prayed. And he passed. 2 years and 1 day after he passed, brother number 5 died of Agent Orange. And it was horrible to watch. But the one thing that hit me, he says, I'm afraid to die. So you would think everything he would have been through with that arm, plus taking care of his brother, he would know Jesus. He did not. And no one was evidently making him aware of what Jesus could do. But that brother said, I'm afraid to die. And in that instant, he was ministered to and accepted Jesus and died. Right there. Now, how do I know this family so well? They were mine. They were my brother. And it drove home the point after those years of not performing what God wanted me to do as being a lady. I failed. And in so failing, I failed those 2 brothers. Because you automatically assume, because they go to church, because they are aware of who Jesus is, but did not know him personally. So that is a failure on me, because they were my brothers. Not brothers in faith, but brothers by blood. And that hit me. And it still hurts. But Pastor Michelle knew this. And it helps me personally to be here today. To share you how easy it is to lose a loved one and not realize that they didn't know Jesus Christ. We've all been to viewings, we've all been to funerals, we've all said the same thing to the person that has lost someone. Oh, well, that was a good person. It didn't matter what you asked, the person would do it. It didn't matter. They would do it. Why? Was that person a believer in Jesus Christ? Who knows? So as family members of the Church of God, now, once we accept Jesus Christ as our Savior, we become a disciple. It is our charge, as with Jesus' disciples, to spread the word. And that spread the word does not mean the public. It means your own family, your own relatives, and the public. Or if you gain one, you gain two. And it is important that you do this in the regards that you want a family to become Christians. Because when they do that and follow what God has programmed for them, Pastor Michelle has a terrifically bad week, a horrible week. The prayer circle this morning was beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and it helps her. And it will help her keep the strength to pass it on to her family. Because if she falters, so will they. Because they will become to the point, mom's getting a little not right here. What can we do? So they have to boost up mom. Your mom right now. In order to keep themselves focused. So mom may be nervous and at ease, but she is keeping her family focused on what is important. She's keeping her family in the sight of Jesus Christ. So if we don't do that with our own families, we are failures in God's sight. Now that doesn't mean that He's kicking us out of heaven. What it does mean is we need to wake up and look things under a new light. We all have people. There's one that I work with, actually two, one died. He developed cancer, the one that died. And when I heard about it, I went to his house, him and the other guy, and they were surprised. Back in Vietnam and all the other ones, they gave you a little Bible, just a little Bible. And you had to carry that if you went into combat. You had to have that in the car. I gave him mine, and I told him and his wife, you hold on to that until you need it no longer. I don't know what your outcome's going to be, but you need to put your faith in what that Bible represents. It will help you get through whatever is to come. And I was over there 4 days before he died. And I could see it in his eyes. His eyes were gray. They were empty. I said nothing to his wife. 4 days later, I woke up, and it's right here. Ghost Memories Family. And I went over, and his son said, how did you know? I said, I knew. And he was still there. The hearse did not come to pick him up. He was still there. But he had that Bible. through that experience, his son and his family figured out that there is peace in Jesus Christ. The other member that I worked with, boy, was he something when I worked with him. I mean, he was something. I went to work one night at midnight, cold, his pickup was totally covered with ice. I said, well, he must be coming in for an overtime. Downstairs I went, he's not there. So I said, must be at the other end. He wasn't. So after an hour, I go upstairs, and I open his pickup door, and in there he is, passed out. I drag him out, and he's ready to fight. Okay. 4 in the morning, come down, why didn't you wake me? Now this is this person's scenario then. That changed. He is on the very edge of accepting Jesus Christ. And I sincerely hope that he does not encounter a person that says they are a disciple of Jesus Christ when they're in here or any church. Because when they go out the door, some of us change. And they'll have an experience, and this is time immortal. If that's what it's like to be a Christian, only on Sunday morning, only in this building, I don't want anything to do with it. So we have to watch. We have to constantly be vigilant of what Jesus stands for in our life. It has to be there. It has to show. It's similar to putting your light under a basket. No one knows. But you will experience something that's going to wake you up. Whether it is your family or your close kids or relatives. You can say all the good things you want, but keep in mind, perhaps they did not know Jesus Christ. Perhaps. So it is time for all of us to wake up and realize there is more people that don't know Jesus Christ than there are those that lead them to Jesus Christ. And that is all of our jobs. You can say, that's minister's job. She gets paid to do it. That's her job. Wrong. She may be getting paid for it. Any minister may be getting paid for it. But they would have never done it to become a minister without a call. Without Jesus in the background saying, this is where I want you to go. Then you will find there will be stumbling blocks to keep you from going where you want to go. So it is not the minister's job 100% to bring the word of Christ to you. It's all the disciples. It's their job too. Thank you for this morning. Thanks, folks. I hope we all learned a little bit. Take care of this lady and take care of your own families, because you never know. With my brother's Agent Orange, it hit in 6 weeks. And the first doctor's appointment, we died. 6 weeks. You've never seen anyone die of Agent Orange. You have
Thank you, Fred. We never know what we have to say is going to be exactly what somebody needs to hear. So, this pulpit is always open. Yes, this is my job that I get paid for, right? But as he shared, each of us have something that God has called us to. So if you ever say, Pastor Michelle, I feel called, I have a word, don't sit in a pew forever, because the word you have might be the word that somebody else has been waiting to hear for a lifetime. So, keeping that in mind, keeping in mind a commitment of being a disciple of Jesus Christ, I encourage us to join together